It's kind of my explanation for what happened to me. I never got to have my say or to explain what happened or even to apologize for the mistake I made, to set it straight. So that's what I do in here in my special. And also, I try to be even more offensive than I
So you're apologizing for one, but then you're bringing it on the other.
I'm bringing it because, I feel like I fell on the sword of the double standards of the left because I was the only one who got canceled. And when I look back at even the people at ABC and the things they've done and not been canceled for doing, and which are far more egregious than the mistake I made, which I say in my special, was that I say that I racially misgendered a person that I assumed to be white. And when the network called me to say, what have you done? I said, I'm so sorry, but I assumed that this was a white woman. I assumed she was an Iranian woman. And they just ran with it. I guess they saw, because I supported President Trump or whatever reason they saw also an opening to take my show away from me. But the next day it was racist, 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 which ruined my life and, made it unsafe for me to walk down the street. And they knew that I made a mistake, and yet they didn't allow me to go on any of their other shows or to explain it on purpose. And I felt like, oh my God, I'm being used by a political machine which has exposed itself over the, interceding 5 years since.
And now you say what to them?
I say you should have allowed me to go on your other news shows, particularly those ones hosted by people who have done blackface, and you never fired them. You should have let me go on there. Joy Behar did blackface. You didn't fire her. Jimmy Kimmel and his girlfriend Sarah Silverman, they did blackface, and you never even said it is wrong that you did that. And they just let that go.
Did people reach out to your friends, your colleagues when you were canceled and talk about the injustice, or once you were canceled, did everyone run away from you?
Yeah, everyone ran away from me except for my real friends, and they called me on the phone, which was funny, because when I first started my comedy career, I used to go to Hollywood parties, and women would come up to me and they'd go, I just want to say thank you for what you're saying about women. Because they were so terrified in Hollywood to support me for what I did. And it was just like that again. They were like, we just want to say we're so sorry, and we know you made a mistake and that you're not racist. But not in public, except for just a few, and a few very, very brave people, such as I want to say, the most brave being my friend Monique and other comics. Now I can't remember his name, but I gave him his first job, and he's a huge director, not Joss Whedon, but I can't.
It'll come to you. Roseanne, we were
the guy that directed 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Okay.
Him.
Yeah, yes.
He defended me too, but aside from those 2 or 3 people, everybody else was afraid. I don't say anything, but
Monique.
They're afraid. Everyone is afraid because it's a mob mentality, which is the other people who were canceled. They didn't lose everything like I did, but we all made a pact, other comics, because we said, if we ever come back, let's be even more offensive. Because we have to, because we're pro-free speech and pro-American values. And if we come back and, namby-pamby it, we're not fighting. And comedy is supposed to be the thing that laughs, power to scorn, especially when it's corrupt. And this is why we became comics in the first place, is to go, no, we're not going to do that. And you know what? You're funny. You are funny, though. No, I mean, we're saying that to power. You're funny, and you're corrupt, and here's the jokes about it. And that's why we do it.
You talk about people whispering, kind of surreptitiously giving you support. Our president whispers a lot. I just want to say
I thought it's
he mumbles.
That's true. You mentioned a moment ago, before we started, how long it had been since you had done stand-up. It had been almost 15 years in this country. So what does it mean, and what does it feel like to you to be back in your full glory, funnier than ever, more offensive than ever, and back?
Well, it was great. It was me embracing who I am in my politics, which is comedy. Because it is the last free speech art form. And it was me going, they're not going to have the last word about me. And I will have not only the last word, but I'll have the last laugh too. And I do believe that I did. And I made a joke to level all of their crap. I got jokes about the vaccine, the forced vax. I got jokes about the left. 3 of my daughters are very liberal. And I've lived it. I've lived their stuff that they think that I can barely contain myself with their stuff. Their privilege. I raised privileged children. I didn't grow up privileged, but my children did because of what I went through. And my whole generation, and we've raised privileged kids who don't have nothing to do with reality. So I kind of break them back down to reality. Wait a minute, what you talking about? What's your gender for? Get a job! They don't think nothing about reality, and they've been bred to do it by, our media and our politicians that are bought and paid for by lobbyists. So I'm like, wait a minute, let's get real. I always said that when I was a comic. Let's get real. So I got real with all of it, and it's like, forget your privilege just for a minute and look at what's around you. Look what's in front of your face. And people have lost that ability to look at what's right in front of their face. So I brought it.
I'm not going to whisper at you. I'm going to look at you in the eye and thank you. Thank you for everything that you've ever done as a comedian. Because my role models growing up were you and Joan Rivers and Carol Burnett. Because it was through humor, watching you do stand up on television, even on the Tonight Show. I can remember what you were wearing.
Wow.
Your first appearance on the Tonight Show. But it was through particularly you and Joan Rivers. It taught me